Hello, and welcome back to Baki Taki, Season 6, Episode 5, Otherworldly Strength. Today we've got a returning guest. It's Ryan.
Hey, Steve. Thanks for having me back.
Yeah, it's funny, I was looking at a previous episode and I described you as the OG Ryan. So I guess you were the first Ryan on the podcast.
Hell yeah. I like that.
And probably I was going to say the last. No, we did, of course, have the other Ryan, but I think we've capped off at two. We haven't just continued to expand our Ryan repertoire. Although that feels like something you've done. Don't you have like a community of Ryans you hang out with?
We do, yes. And if I could just spend a couple minutes here. No, I'm kidding. No, we do. There's if you go to Instagram and you look up the Ryan meetup, it literally is what it says on the tins. It's just a bunch of Ryans from around the world. They meet up to hang out, go to different events. Their most recent one was St. Ryan's Day in Philly a couple weeks ago. So if you were there and you're listening to Baki Taki, I'm jealous I couldn't join you, but I'm happy to have you here. So that's the short story behind the Ryan phenom.
And can you believe we've got the OG Ryan here today? What a catch.
I know, and it feels so good. That's why I'm loving it so much. So yeah, let's keep that title.
All right, so two questions for you, Ryan. The first one, I'm asking all my returning guests, what's new for you since the hiatus? So in the last 2 years, anything fun happen?
Oh my gosh, it's insane. So for me, I left a job that I just didn't think was a great fit. And I've since started a new job. Same industry, same profession, but in the time between jobs, I took the opportunity to upskill. I did some traveling, hung out with the Ryans, um, and I really just focused on my health. So I'm in a much better place now, professionally speaking, than I was before. I think this is a better fit, and despite some late nights, every job has busy seasons, so uh, it's a lot better than I think where I was before. So I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling really good. Not much else on the personal side, unfortunately. It's still wild to me that 2 years has gone by. But a
Mm-hmm.
new professional outlook has been a really good change.
Hey, that's a lot in 2 years, honestly. I've done nothing at my job in the last 2 years. I just go on parental leave and then come back. Um,
Do you think it's going to be the same when you get back? Have as much changed in your time off, do you think?
yeah, no, it'll be the exact same. Just more AI, so that'll be fun. um,
Love it.
anyway, the other question I always ask, coming into this episode, what did you know about Baki?
Oh my gosh. So this is my third time on the show, which means I've had two episodes under my belt. I was hoping for a return of Biscuit Oliver.
Mm-hmm,
Uh,
mm-hmm.
he is a favorite of mine. I mean, I don't know if it is a soft reboot, if it is a formal extension of the previous episode I saw. Look, I mean, it was pretty par for the course. Big, chiseled, muscly people talking about otherworldly abilities, frankly, and not as much gore in this one as I've seen in others. So I suppose uh,
We'll take it.
that's something to say. Yeah.
Yeah, sadly, Biscuit Oliva, he's going to be out for a while. And when he comes back, he immediately gets the crap kicked out of him. So it's going to be, if you're looking for Oliva, come back in 2032, and I'm sure we'll have some good content with him. But we do have a lot of the rest of the cast. But anyway, let's jump into this episode. So we start with some real action. Baki's exceeding the speed of light. Do you want to set the scene?
I am faster than the speed of light!
Yeah, I mean, it is your classic dojo um, showdown, if I could say that. You have our main man, Baki, facing down yet another titan or behemoth of an individual, and he pulls out this move that sends him, or rather his fist, faster than the speed of light, hurtling towards this guy's face. It's something I don't think I've seen from Baki up till this point, so
Mm-hmm.
they've definitely upped the ante.
Yeah, it's funny how many times they mention that his fist is like we end the previous episode with Baki saying it's faster than the speed of light. We start this episode with him saying that, and we say it again at some point. Just an absolute ridiculous claim for just also he's doing a jab. I do think that
Well, I want to talk about the jab later.
Oh yes. So yeah, the episode starts with Baki pulling off the jab from the previous episode on Musashi, and he does land the hit. But first, we do get a little history lesson, or a little training of a young Baki being taught by a young Yujiro about the idea of a jab. Do you remember the name that he originally gave for the jab?
Oh man, that's the first thing that really stuck out to me. Beyond the faster than light comment, it was
Yep.
the name, and I was gonna write it down before I got on, but I forgot. So could you please remind me?
I wrote it down roughly. The Galactic Super Ultra Phantom Magnum 44 punch.
The name of that technique?
The Galactica Phantom Ultra Super 44 Magnum Ultimate!
I was just gonna say, like, I loved it, they from what I remember too, like he says this long ass name, and then he pauses, and then he ends with
It's a jab.
so I don't know, the delivery was
No,
great.
it's great, and it's Baki, I often find, has good unintentional humor, but it's also just got good humor when it wants to be funny. The point that they're making here is that if you try and hit somebody, they can always counter it if they're skilled enough and if they see it coming. The exception to the rule is the jab, which is just punching them really fast, and it's such a fast movement that there should be no way to respond. Do you think that's real? Do you think that that's the only uncounterable move in martial arts?
Ah, man, I really don't know, but speed of light, what can really stop that?
I mean, that's okay. Yes, if you were punching at the speed of light, then I would assume it is unblockable. That's true. What if I tried to kick you in the shin? I feel like that's another unblockable move.
Well, I don't know, man. I mean, for me, you against me, sure, 100%. I'll be taking that and I'll be hurting. But I feel like there are people out there who have what would appear to you and me superhuman capabilities, and that is honed by just years and years of practicing your craft. So, um, I really wish I knew more about martial arts to be able to tell you like what can be avoided. But I do agree with this sentiment in Baki that if you train yourself and if you hone your reflexes to a certain point, most conventional attacks, I think, can be avoided, but it is extremely, extremely difficult to get
Mm-hmm.
to that level of mastery. And you have to be operating under set rules, right? Like no prison yard rules. You're working under
It'd be very
a
difficult to get to
one-on-one.
this fictional level of mastery. I agree. Moving on just a little bit, because I want to talk about the jab that actually connects. Baki knocks him unconscious.
The ground beneath me began to tilt, and it rose up at me from the left. When I stopped it, my body was as good as dead. I lost consciousness. We were just playing a game, but I lost myself.
Very briefly. It didn't look like he was unconscious to me, but he did say that he was unconscious. Did you like... I liked how they brought up that he punched him in the chin, which caused his brain to rattle around a bit. A classic Bakiism. But it continues on, and Baki actually ends up trying another jab. But before that, Musashi says that if you can't defend yourself from a jab, you're not a martial artist.
So what you're trying to say is that you could have dodged my left jab?
If you can't defend yourself from a jab, then you can't call yourself a martial artist.
Now, considering we just established that a jab is the unblockable move in martial arts, did that seem a bit contradictory?
Yeah, it did. And the only thing that really got me thinking this works is here you have Baki being taught by Yujiro, right? That's his name?
Yep.
Saying one thing because that's his understanding of the martial arts universe. But then this guy is saying, no, I'm going to present something that's completely to the contrary of it just to show how different we are. So yeah, absolutely contradictory, but I kind of, I put it up to, just differences of opinion. And it actually got me wondering, who's this guy, this behemoth that Baki supposedly knocked unconscious, and where's he coming from? I got my answers later on in the episode.
Yeah, that must have been a fun little twist.
Oh my god.
He is
Sorry,
quite the
I could talk about that, but you go ahead.
Well, when did you figure out who this guy was?
Well, it was definitely during the I don't remember when it happened. There must have been an internal flashback he had of him talking to two scientists.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And
This world is not like the world you know. It's been over 400 years since your time.
that's where they literally spell it out for you.
I think that's
All
when
I
he's
thought
looking
was,
at the
you know,
billboard and going like, "How is
yes,
that giant woman?"
it's a moving painting, and no one cares about it. Wow, sure, things sure have changed.
I love that. Well, we'll get to that later in the episode, but yeah, I love Musashi. Yeah, the interesting thing about Musashi, I do agree. I like that it's clearly showing a difference between Yujiro and Musashi when they're both like clear experts of martial arts and they have this difference in opinion. I sort of hate how Musashi is able to pull this off. The explanation given is that Tor Nortrander, a Dutch scientist in the 90s, came up with this idea, which I'm sure everybody's heard. All pop science eventually makes its way into Baki.
In 1991, a Danish author by the name of Tor Nortranders posited the notion that human consciousness arrives a half of a second late. Humans believe that the actions they take are the result of their own will. But in reality, a half second before that decision is made, the brain has already begun sending out signals.
But the idea that the human consciousness comes a half second later, like we act and then the brain rationalizes it afterwards. I think the most clear example of this, if you sit on a pin, your body will raise from the pin before you decide to do it. According to Tor Norstrander, I think that's just a rule in general. There's a lot of interesting philosophical implications about this for in determinism versus free will. But we'll focus to just buff guys fighting each other in yards. The part that really got me is like, assuming all of this is true, what does this matter for Musashi? Why is he able to read Baki's brain before he moves? Because looking at the scene, it seemed like there was electricity shooting from their brain and connecting them. I don't know. It felt... I don't know if I bought this.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And you know, I made a comment earlier that, you know, provided your reflexes are fast enough, you could probably dodge most attacks. Again, assuming you're on an even playing field. But this just took it to, to the Baki extreme, where yeah, I completely lost this. And later on, I'm sure you're going to talk about this too. The reason for why he has this ability, as opposed to someone like Baki or someone from Baki's time. Yeah, it just seemed like such a convenient way to move the plot forward. So yeah, wasn't super impressed with that part.
Yeah, no, I agree. This fight's very straightforward. Baki lands his first jab, knocks him unconscious. Then Musashi's like, "I let you do that because I wanted to see what would happen." After admitting that Baki could have killed him 3 times if he wanted to. But the second time, when Baki tries to punch, because Musashi can read his brain, he's able to block the punch and then use his imaginary sword to cut Baki in half. Baki, I wrote in my notes, ooh, that cut really stings, because Baki seems to really, really feel the pain on getting sliced in half. And then somehow he throws Musashi away. Anyway, what's your thoughts? Because this is a recurring thing throughout the season. What do you think about his invisible, or not even invisible, more imaginary sword?
Yeah, look, I don't know, man, and I haven't seen the rest of Baki or any other series, so I don't know if this is something they've done before or if this is new. But I thought, okay, initially I thought, are they dipping into the supernatural here? No, it ended up just being like, like a metaphor for his
Baki's very
quick
grounded.
moves.
There's very little supernatural stuff, except for the spirit medium who kissed the soul of Musashi Miyamoto into this clone body. But other than that, it's all very grounded.
Oh, okay. Well, see, now I just learned something else. I thought this was the actual
Like a
Invincible
time travel
Samurai.
thing. Yeah, no,
Yeah, no, for real.
they did that with the caveman already. So
Oh, okay. Man, there's so much I don't know, but I guess that's the point of this show. I thought that was a little weird, definitely out of left field from what I know. And but one thing I did want to ask you about is I noticed the eyes going completely white when Baki mustered the strength to push him back. Is that like something else that's new? Because I don't remember anyone ever tapping into like the avatar state to fight each other. Yet I see that with both fighters in this scene.
it's always been there. It's become a lot more commonly used. They used it when characters were yawning this season. They lose the pupils in their eyes. It's just a quirk in Itagaki's art style, often to make the character look sort of cool in the moment, or more like, I guess, less human. They'll take away the pupils. But there's no, it's just artistic merit. There's no like meaning behind it in terms of like he's entering eye mode or anything like that. That's more or less the conflict between Baki and Musashi. Baki gets slashed. He performs a counter move. Musashi's like, okay, this is fun, but I can do better, and just leaves.
You did better than I expected. But I feel like having more fun.
Tokugawa is, of course, horrified that this man has escaped his compound and is going to wander into town. And for sort of a good reason. Because he is a huge fish out of water. We've talked before about how... I don't think you ended up on a season with this, but we did have a caveman. And he was a big fish out of water because, he was used to fighting dinosaurs, not driving cars. But this guy... even though he's only 400 years out, like I really enjoy all of the moments that Itagaki has him just acknowledge how different things are. And the billboard, I think, is my favorite. He doesn't see it as a screen. He sees it as a giant woman just moving on. Like, I think he's trying to wrap his head around, like, if it's a painting, but how is it so big if it's a painting, and why can it move, and why is nobody else looking at it?
What am I looking at? It's not a painting. It moves. That wall, it defies all explanation.
I guess the real part that I like is that he's so intimidating in a fight, and then you put him in this street and he's like freaking out, or not freaking out, but just a step below that. Well, everybody around him is just super calm.
No, I agree. And honestly, this was my favorite part of the episode. The whole fish out of water aspect, how it juxtaposes what we just saw, but also the inner monologue that he goes through, just saying, is this really what we could have accomplished in 400 years? And I think he has a moment too where he's thinking, what is his value? Can he adapt? And I think he lands on, I've always known how to beat people.
If there's one thing I know, it's how to win against people. Or rather, winning against people is the only thing I know how to do.
And we see that in full force almost immediately after.
Yeah, I like that, especially because right before he said something against, if like I know how to win against people, that's the only thing I know. But what I really liked is right before that he was looking at buildings and he was just like, he was just in awe at them, and then he was like,
yeah.
I'm not here to fight buildings. I'm going to fight the people. I can acknowledge
That's
that
true.
These new people made great buildings, but I'm here to fight people. And it's funny because I don't want to call him an antagonist. He's just a dude who showed up and people keep trying to fight him. But he's a very fun character to follow. He's fun to root for and fun to root against a bit because he's such a overdog.
Oh, yeah.
This leads to a really fun encounter. The police show up, seemingly to arrest him for not wearing shoes.
Well,
I think it's pretty obvious we're the police.
Police?
Come on now, mister. Why don't you have any shoes on?
Yeah.
Another reason I would, I don't know, I wouldn't want to interact with the Japanese police. The Japanese criminal justice system, they have a 99.9% conviction rate.
Are you serious?
Like if you go to trial, yeah, 99.9% of people who go
Oh my
to trial
God.
are convicted. So you want to be nice to the police. Like you want to make sure you're not walking around without shoes on.
Oh yeah, noted.
Anyway, let's get your thoughts on this scene.
I mean, look, I'm just trying to recall standard interaction, right? Hey, buddy, you look a little out of place.
Yep. They ask for his ID,
but-
and he says, like, a letter of introduction?
Look, I think we're gonna need you to provide some kind of identification.
What, like a letter of introduction? I don't have one.
Yeah, that I really enjoyed. As for an address, I just got here. Yeah, I mean, look, it got pretty funny pretty quick. I don't know. I could be a smart ass and say, oh, it's actually a commentary on how quickly the justice system is willing to, typecast people, or
Yeah.
I don't know. But what are your thoughts? I really am curious to hear how you thought of the whole exchange.
I think the justice system needs to be more accommodating of weird-looking guys who say they're Musashi Miyamoto and were born 400 years ago. I think they need to.
I suppose that's a good takeaway.
Yeah,
I can get behind that.
I think they need to think maybe he's telling the truth, because I think you'll get more flies with honey than vinegar. They do ask him what type of drugs he's on. He says none. Yeah, I don't know.
Doesn't he ask what are drugs?
Yeah, you're right. What the heck are those? It's such a great interaction, and it's so funny that like Musashi gets in a fair amount of trouble this season, and like he's really just, especially compared to most of Baki. If I walked up to half the cast of Baki and asked for their identification, they would murder me. Like Musashi just answers like, "Oh, I don't know what an ID is." It's just too bad how things unfold.
You're right. Actually, I did want to just stop there. You bring up a very good point. And your hesitancy to call him an antagonist, I think, is totally understood by looking at this. I was also a bit taken aback, now that I'm thinking of the engagement a little bit more. The fact that there was any dialogue to begin with. Like, there's no doubt that this guy's a badass, but some of the people I saw in that jail, for example, in my last appearance on this show,
yeah. If you walk up to Spec and just ask him like, "Can I get your identification?" He will take his license out and cut your jugular with it. But anyway, after that, some of these scenes, I actually really like this episode, but I didn't have much to say on this next scene where Baki practices his kata. I think the basic thrust here, and feel free to chime in if I'm missing anything, is that Baki felt like his martial arts, he just lost. He got some hits in, but in the end of the day, Musashi beat him. And so he goes into his weird bomb shelter basement and he starts practicing for the next time. And his kata is sort of like his repertoire, his moves, his technique.
Baki's kata. Made by Baki. For Baki. My kata.
And he's deciding to practice to be better. I don't know. I didn't really have much more to add there. Was there anything you wanted to say?
Nah, not really.
Perfect.
Sometimes it is what it is.
Honestly, we can sort of jump to the end of the episode. So 4 police officers end up getting injured in this scuffle with Musashi, and it makes the news, which I love. Imagine just reporting on anything that happened in Baki, just on your daily news. But we cut to a lot of people's reactions, and this is what I really liked. We saw Jack Hanma, Goku Shibukawa, and Motobe all react to this, and I thought all of their reactions were hilarious. First off, do you know Jack Hanma?
Not at all.
Okay, so Jack is Baki's Canadian half brother. He used to be pretty tall, and then he broke all of his arms and legs so that you could regrow them taller. So he used to be about 6'6", which is very tall in Baki. You don't realize how short everybody is because they go by the average Japanese height. Just as an aside, I watched a show for the Anime Awards that was about a very tall girl. Like, that was the selling point, was she was so tall. People kept commenting on it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how tall she was?
Like 5'10"?
5'6".
Oh my god.
She was not that tall. Even in this show, she wasn't that tall. Her boyfriend was taller than her. But anyway, people wouldn't shut up about how tall she was. Star Brighter Than the Sun, if anybody wants to watch it. Back to Baki. Jackon was 6'6". That's very tall in Baki and in real life. This season, he broke all of his arms and legs again, and he is now 8 feet tall.
What?
And so when he heard the news about Musashi, it does cut to him, and he does bang his head on the ceiling.
But the police are tracking him on a scale never before seen, putting the organization's prestige on the line. And in other news...
He's so strong. Who the fuck is that guy?
Which I found to be such a great detail that he was surprised. I'm honestly surprised that he had a ceiling he could not bang his head on immediately. But he's also injecting steroids into his neck when we meet him, because that's the only thing he does.
Oh, wow.
Jack, just for context, because you don't know Jack, you don't know Jack.
Ouch.
The archetype he represents is sort of, if Baki's all about training and mastery of the martial arts, Jack is like, what if I just did a bunch of steroids, broke all my bones, replaced my teeth with metal? Like, what if I was just bigger and stronger and I used modern science to win? I love him. He's great.
It's like the Rocky versus... I don't even know. I haven't seen
versus
that
the
movie.
Terminator would be a more accurate one. Yeah, Ivan Drago, if he was 8 feet tall, would be a great movie. Rocky 14.
Make it happen.
So I just sort of talked all through that Jack one. So I want to get your thoughts on Goku Shibukawa. He was the next guy. He's the little Aiki guy, and he responds to the news about Musashi by saying that he's been slighted.
How else should I take it? I've been slighted. I've been called an amateur, or worse, a phony. It may not have been said as words, but his movements, his skills, have debased me all the same.
Almost implying that just the fact that Musashi exists is like an insult to his skill. What did you... Do you know who I'm talking about and like what was going through his mind?
He was the thin guy doing kata in his dojo, right?
Yep.
It was kind of he was on for such a brief amount of time that I didn't really have much time to form an opinion. Yeah, I'm afraid that's all it is.
Fair enough. It was a very confusing train of thought. The last guy, and this is something that I'm sure you haven't had in one of your episodes, and most listeners probably have forgotten who this is. Matobe is back. Matobe is the guy who we end the episode with, and he says that it's his job to protect Baki, Doppo, Goku, and Yujiro from Musashi Miyamoto.
Baki. And Doppo, too. Shibukawa. And yes, even the ogre. I must protect them all.
What was your impression of Matobe?
He's the guy with the eye patch?
No, that's Doppo.
Or am I thinking?
I skipped Doppo, okay. I guess. Yeah, I didn't have him in my notes, so I forgot.
I mean, he was the most memorable from all the ones. Just as a casual viewer, or really a first-time viewer. But who were you asking me about?
Matobe is the last guy, the guy who says he's going to protect everybody. He's got long gray hair.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I mean, look, pal, maybe 20 years ago, maybe in your dreams. I don't know. I've seen enough of the invincible samurai to,
To
you know,
not think this aging grandpa is gonna beat him.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe he'll speak to him on a deeper level, but it's not going to be in the ring. Absolutely not.
Yeah, I think that's totally fair. And so the thing about Matobe is this is his big moment. If you're like me and a Netflix viewer of the show, Matobe did things in the original Baki, like the older one before it came to Netflix. But in the 6 seasons of Baki Taki, Matobe's done one thing of note, and it was in the first season. He fought Doyle. Oh no, not Doyle. Unagi, one of the original death row inmates. Unagi was there, and Matobe hit him with a metal chain a bunch, and then the fight was broken up halfway because Yujiro came and then also beat the crap out of Unagi. So that's all Matobe has done in the last like 5 seasons, and now he's come in and said, "I will protect the entire cast." It's truly a fun twist, and if you're, everyone who's listening to this podcast has likely watched the show, but Matobe is one of my favorite parts of this season, and this is just sort of the little teaser setting him up. So we'll be talking more about him throughout the season.
Nice. One thing I did notice too is this felt a lot like an introductory episode, with everyone reacting to the presence of this new threat or new challenge. And yet it's episode 5. I'm wondering what the overarching story is of this season. And again, my original question still stands. Is it a continuation, or is it a spin-off? Is it a reboot?
This is a continuation. So Baki has been running in one form or another for a long time, and there's several chunks where they rename it. So I believe the original is Baki the Grappler, and then New Baki the Grappler, and then Baki Hanma, Son of Ogre, Baki Do is what we're on right now. None of them are. They're all follow each other canonically, but they're sort of just chunks of the manga.
Got you.
We're almost.
Yeah, but this
caught
felt like
up.
very much an introductory episode, to be honest with you, for the season.
So I agree. I actually think that the first chunk of this season is a bit on the weaker side, because it's such a slow build up, and like this is sort of where everything kicks off. Like now the pieces are in place. We've got all of the weirdos walking around town ready to fight each other. So yeah, I do think this is sort of an introduction. It's an introduction to the stronger half of the season. And yeah, ideally it wouldn't be episode 5. All right. Did you have any other general questions about the episode?
One comment. When you saw, I keep forgetting his name. Musashi or
Musashi Miyamoto.
Musashi. Yeah, okay. When you saw him beating up these 4 or 5 police officers, the news anchor kept saying, we've got CCTV footage showing this. And you get like 5 different angles of the same thing, including one from like below. Yet it has that same CCTV like grainy image. I'm like, where do these Japanese put their cameras?
I do always that stuff. Yeah, that stuff drives me crazy. I guess just to assume it's not a plot hole, it's a very suspect police state they've got going on there. I don't want to be the guy who has to review the from below camera that the government's running. No, you don't understand. It's so we can see Musashi kick people.
Yeah, but honestly, man, that was the last really big standout for me. Yeah, it was just that. All in all, I thought it was a pretty well-rounded episode. Like I said, it felt like an introductory episode. I felt like I didn't miss much, and maybe that was good for me. I don't know if that's a negative on the season structure, but I felt like I knew enough. I knew who it was. I knew what the stakes were, and I knew it was the start of, I think, what I came to know Baki as, just like this um, bringing together of the best, and I cannot wait to see what the final showdown is here, because, like I think I mentioned at the top of this episode, this is, I think, the most powerful person we've seen. Like every episode, every season of Baki, one episode that I've watched, the power scaling just increases. And I'm thinking, like, where are they going to take it from here? I've got an idea based on this whole reincarnating someone from the past, but I'm not sure if you or your viewers or listeners, sorry, want to hear that. But yeah, no, it was a quick watch, and actually ended up finishing a lot faster than I thought. So I think I enjoyed it, Steve. I really enjoyed it.
I'm glad. Yeah, and you touch on a great point. Baki throughout its entire run has sort of had this like shadow looming over it in Yujiro. This guy who's just clearly stronger than everyone else. And Musashi is the first antagonist introduced, really ever, that is arguably as strong as Yujiro and sort of resets the power scale. And we'll see some of that later in the season. Anyway, fan question time. We had 2 fan questions this week that sort of tie into each other. So we'll start with the first one. If you and your guest were fighters in the Baki universe, what would your gimmick or special technique be? So I'll let you go first, Ryan.
Oh man, I mean, the first one that came to mind was just the Russian hug. So not Russian, but the rush and hug.
Okay.
So we clasped hands, right? My guest's right hand and my left hand, and then we immediately would wrap ourselves around the other person. And the
So
goal would be to just
who is your guest in this scenario?
you, Steve. I
I'm your
want you.
guest. Okay. Okay, so we're a tag team duo.
We're a tag team duo.
Okay.
That's how I interpreted this question, anyways. Like
Okay.
me and
No,
a.
you know what? Let's go for that.
Okay.
I think it was
So,
fun
like,
that we'd both have our own signature moves that we'd use. Not that we have one
oh,
together.
okay. All right. Well,
So we clasp hands.
thanks. Thanks for letting me roll with this. We clasp hands and then we wrap ourselves around the other person. The idea is we would just use our gargantuan muscles and body mass to squish the person between us.
And what do we
Both
say while
completely
this is going
immobilizing them.
on?
I mean, we'd probably have some sort of long, drawn out dialogue about how pressure makes diamonds, and I don't know.
That. Okay.
Yeah.
That's perfect, because the second part of the question was, what would the name for our technique be in the spirit of the Galactic Phantom Ultra 44 Magnum? I know you called it the Russian hug. I'm gonna call it the Coal Crusher, because we're going to crush them into diamonds. Yeah, this would be great. I don't think they've ever considered that 2 guys might try and hug them to death. But
And you know why I thought about this is because going again back to one of your first questions on this show, or this episode, was, what could you avoid? And I mean, unless you have the ability to jump right over us. I mean, you're a tall guy. I'm a decently tall guy. I feel like if we just rushed him, did something completely unexpected, there's no doubt we'd make contact. And then once we've made contact and we've got him, he's done for.
You know that old song, can't go over it, can't go under it, can't go around it? I think they're going to go through us. I think either through, just run through me, or I know we've clasped hands in this scenario, but that might be the weak link in this insurmountable
Yeah, don't worry about it,
that
Steve.
we've created.
Our bond is strong.
Well, thank you so much for coming on this episode. Always a blast to have you as a guest. And that is all the Baki we've got to talkie. So I'll see you all next week.
Are we off?
Now we're done.